I want to say to my babies that your mama loves you so much, and your daddy, these whole families love you so much. And you guys have got to be strong.
On October 25th, 1994, Susan Smith called police in Union, South Carolina, claiming that a man had carjacked her vehicle while she was stopped at a traffic light. Inside the car were her 2 young sons, Michael and Alex, strapped securely into their car seats. She said the man forced her out of the car and drove away with the children still inside. It was every parent's worst nightmare. Police immediately launched a massive search for Michael and Alex. Roadblocks were set up across Union County. Officers searched highways and back roads. Divers examined nearby lakes and ponds. The FBI joined the investigation. National media outlets quickly picked up the story, turning it into headline news across America. The town of Union rallied around Susan Smith. Churches held prayer vigils. Volunteers distributed missing child flyers. Neighbors brought food and comfort. Strangers stopped her on the street to offer support. Susan appeared on television multiple times, pleading directly into the cameras. She asked the alleged kidnapper to bring her sons back. She said they needed their mother. She said she just wanted them home safely. Across the country, people cried with her. But behind the scenes, investigators began noticing small inconsistencies in Susan Smith's story. There were no witnesses to the carjacking. No physical evidence supported her account. The traffic light she claimed to have stopped at did not match her timeline. Details shifted under questioning. As the days passed, the pressure intensified. For 9 days, the nation watched Susan Smith's emotional appeals. For 9 days, search teams combed through water and woods. For 9 days, hope flickered. Then, on November 3rd, 1994, Susan Smith confessed. There had been no carjacker. Instead, she had allowed her car to roll into John D. Long Lake with Michael and Alex still strapped inside. The same mother who had stood before cameras asking for mercy had known the truth the entire time. The shock was overwhelming. The grief quickly turned into disbelief and then anger. The community that had prayed for her felt betrayed. People who had defended her publicly now struggled to process what had happened. But the biggest question still remained. Why? During the investigation and later during trial proceedings, it emerged that Susan Smith had been involved in a romantic relationship with a wealthy local man. According to testimony, he had written her a letter stating that he did not want children in his life. Prosecutors argued that Susan believed her sons stood in the way of that relationship. They suggested she saw them as an obstacle to the life she wanted. Was it fear of losing him? Was it emotional dependency? Was it a desperate attempt to reshape her future? Psychologists have studied the case for decades. Some described Susan Smith as deeply insecure and dependent on male validation. Others suggested underlying depression and unresolved trauma from her past. Her father had died by suicide when she was a child, and she reportedly had a history of emotional instability. Still, none of those factors provide simple answers. One of the most disturbing aspects of the case was the prolonged deception. For 9 days, Susan Smith maintained her fabricated story. She attended vigils. She hugged volunteers. She made public pleas. She looked directly into cameras. That sustained performance raises chilling psychological questions. Did she believe she could maintain the lie indefinitely? Did she think sympathy would protect her? Was there a moment she considered telling the truth earlier? Did guilt weigh on her, or was self-preservation stronger? At trial, the prosecution presented the act as intentional and calculated. The defense focused on her mental health and emotional fragility. Ultimately, Susan Smith was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. Even with a conviction, the case continues to be analyzed in criminal psychology courses and media ethics discussions. It is studied as an example of deception, manipulation of public sympathy, and the complexities of human motivation. But beyond legal arguments and psychological analysis, 2 young lives were lost, and a community was forever changed. Union, South Carolina, became known nationwide for a tragedy it never asked for. Residents have spoken over the years about the emotional aftermath, the confusion, the heartbreak, and the loss of innocence that followed. This story forces us to confront uncomfortable realities about emotional instability, the dangers of unresolved trauma, and the powerful influence of romantic obsession. It also reminds us how easily public perception can be shaped by tears and storytelling before facts are verified. True crime is not just about events. It is about human choices. It is about warning signs. It is about understanding how desperation and insecurity can distort judgment in irreversible ways. If this story moved you, if it made you reflect, if it reminded you that not every public image reflects private reality, then this is exactly why Truth and Tales TV exists. We tell real stories. We explore the psychology. We respect the victims. And we ask the difficult questions. Please take a moment now to subscribe, like this video, and share it. Your support truly helps us grow and continue bringing you more thoughtful and well-researched true crime stories. More cases are coming. More psychological deep dives. More truths behind the headlines. This is Truth and Tales TV, and we'll see you in the next story.